All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews. Okay, so we're still back with Vacation Day number 2, and we are now going to do one of my final viewing series movies, and we're going to be reviewing 1991's Necessary Roughness. This movie came out when I was about 15, 16. It was one of the very first VHS tapes I ever owned. And since it's football season, I felt like this was the proper time. I've been sitting on this movie for a while. I knew I was going to have this as one of my final viewing series, as I haven't seen this movie in like 25 years. And all I remember was the cast. And that it's, and then the premise pretty much. So it's got a pretty big cast. It's got Scott Bakula, it's got Robert Loggia, it's got Hector Elizondo, it's got Harley Jane Kozak, it's got Sinbad, it's got Jason Bateman, man. Wait till you see this if you have not seen this movie, how young he was. It's got the supermodel Kathy Ireland, it's got Larry Miller's in this, Dalton Thompson, the guy who was on Hunt for Red October and Law and Order, Fred Dalton Thompson. Rob Schneider's in this. I don't know if I said that. Then there's like cameos from like people like Dick Butkus and Evander Holyfield, and there's just a ton of people in this movie. Oh boy, 16-year-old me. I think I liked the cover. I remember when I went to the Blockbuster to buy this. And I swear to God, I saw this and went, damn, that's cool. And I remember when it came out, I saw it a bunch of times. But is it any good? Well, I mean, it's a lot about perspective now. It should be called cliched sports movie, but a lot of those movies are like this, like the Replacements and like the Program and all these sports movies. They all kind of followed certain things, like Bad News Bears type style. Like all the players have like uniqueness to them that would never fly on a football field. There's a guy out there that's like a samurai. It's like he goes out there and like kicks people. You've got the great big Samoan guy. You've got, and a lot of these people, they kind of set them up as characters and then they really don't do anything with them. And a lot of this movie, like the first like 45 minutes or so is just kind of set up. And most of the football is just done in like quick montage, to the point where like there's only 2 games left in this movie and all the football went by really fast. And so they kind of build up the last 2 games to be like, I was like, holy shit, there's only like 2 games left in this season this whole movie's got like another like 45 minutes left. So then you got like inspirational sports movie music playing throughout the entire movie. It's got like the dean played by Larry Miller, who is funny in just about anything. Is just the stick in the mud who apparently at this college. Okay, so this college's team was kicked out. All the players were kicked out of school, expelled. All the coaches were fired. Like the whole staff was, and what they were accused of was pretty much everything but like a sexual assault. It sounds like. So it was like drugs, bribery, cheating, just all this stuff that like in one school. It's just Jesus Christ. So they have to hire from the student body and they do all these tryouts and they get a little ragtag group of guys, even though like it seems like they have some pretty decent defensive type players, but they don't do anything with them as far as like actual characters. Scott Bakula is your typical, he's like 34, he never went to college, so they tempt him to come back to like play as a student. And I love at the beginning of this movie, he's on a farm, he's like working as a farmer, and they're just trying to show you how good he is as a football player by throwing a ball and hitting this like dummy that he has out in his field. And I was just like I couldn't throw no 60-yard pass, but I could stand there and hit a dummy that's not moving sitting in the field about 20 yards away from me. And that's supposed to make you go, oh yeah, he's good. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But in the end, like with all the cliches that this movie has, even where the coach gets sick and they don't think they're gonna, he's gonna make it to the game, and they're like, win one for, the Gipper type moment too. It's just, is it entertaining? I turned my brain off for most of it and was able to enjoy it, for knowing that this was going to be the last time I see this movie. I tried to not have such a cynical look at it. There were lots of moments that I knew would just never fly in football games. So there was those points. Like, I think I was more critical of it on a football level than I was on an entertainment level. Sinbad, this is so 90s. I mean, you got Sinbad in this, who's just, most of his things just being Sinbad. Rob Schneider, I think must have did all his work in like a day, because he just sits at a microphone and announces, does the game play-by-play. And we even, since it's 1991, we even get the copy guy from Saturday Night Live shows up in his brain. He starts going, fumble Ruski, fumble Rama, like, oh God, that joke got old about 6 months after that skit came out. So I guess that's around the time that was popular. But most of the cast is pretty entertaining, and it is like every time Jason Bateman's on screen, and it's just like, holy shit, Jason Bateman, you were such a baby. Even though in this, he was like, when this came out, he was older than me, but whatever. Scott Bakula is fine. Harley Jane Kozak as the love interest is just there. She was in a lot of like movies that were big in that time. She was in like Parenthood and Arachnophobia. Robert Loggia is always great, because he's just Robert Loggia. They just go, deliver your lines like this: hey everybody, screw you, fuck off. And Hector Elizondo is one of those actors that I feel like is much better than a lot of the work he gets, like in Pretty Woman and like the Princess Diaries and shit like that. He's a pretty good actor. Larry Miller in this is unfortunate to be just the brunt. He has to be the asshole character. The dean who somehow this college doesn't really want a sports team, it seems like, in his opinion. Like, I don't understand, whatever. But in the end, and then you got Kathy Ireland. They bring in at like the 11th hour to be the kicker, and since Kathy Ireland was famous at the time, and I have to admit, when I saw her on screen again, I was like, damn, man, Kathy Ireland. But she's, if you've ever seen any of her other acting, it was one of those times where you just go, if I could go back in time, I'd be like, honey, stick to having pictures being taken of you. Though the guy that plays the Samoan center, Manu Manu, I've always liked him a lot. I can't remember the actor's real name, but he's really good in this. It's always fun to have that big guy that, has the big heart, like the soul of the team and everything. It even has a Rudy moment at the end of the movie. It has the moment where the guy who can't catch a ball suddenly, finally, when it really counts, gets that in him that he can finally catch a ball in the big game, and it's supposed to be these plucky underdog movies, and there's nothing wrong with them. These are movies that 16-year-old me must have really liked, because I was, a little small kid who never got to be in a football game or anything like that. So I imagine that's what I was probably thinking when I watched this movie 1,000 times back then. But I am really relieved that I've seen it once more, and hopefully never again, because it just... Is it so terrible that you couldn't watch it on a rainy Sunday afternoon on Netflix or something? No, it's fine. But it's just not great. Like most of these movies are to me. If you're a big sports fan and that kind of stuff doesn't really bother you, and that's what gets your juices flowing, you'll probably love this. And like I said, it was entertaining, but just I had to completely shut off a big portion of my brain to sit there and watch it again. So anyway, that's it. That's Necessary Roughness. It is definitely a movie for the time it came out. And that's about it. So anyway, I just want to, again, I do these not just to recommend them or not recommend them to people, but also just to have a video diary so that like when I'm like 80, I can rewatch these and see what I thought about them so that I never have to watch them again. And I can picture them in my mind. So anyway, if you liked this video, please hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe. What did you think of this movie? If you're my age and you remember this movie, tell me what you think of it if you haven't seen it in forever. Otherwise, this is Rob at Smirking Gun Reviews saying we will be back with another video. We'll be doing season 3 of The Expanse starting tomorrow. We got Better Call Saul coming out. Let's see, the show starts in about an hour, which means the review will probably be up in about a couple hours. So that's that to look forward to. Check out everything else on my channel. Thank you for all the support that you guys give me. And that's it. So have a great night, and we'll see you later. Bye.